Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome back to Wholesale Fridays. Hasn't been quite so regular the last few weeks. Been some conferences and traveling all over the place, but we're happy to be back hanging out with you guys here.
We've been in the
Um
trenches.
what's that? Oh, we've been
I
in the
said we've been
trenches. Yeah, yeah.
in the trenches.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been like a few weeks since we've been on the channel. You probably sold what, like 1.5 million since then, or
We're approaching that seven-figure month. We're getting close. So I think this
That's
this
awesome.
month definitely, I mean, it's May 29th already. We'll be at like 900,000 this month, somewhere around there. So it's all funding right now. I feel like at every stage of it, it's like, how do you scale? You need more capital. You need more
Yeah.
capital. So we're at that point now. It's just like, stabilizing the business and making better decisions.
So with and just in case if you guys are watching on the replay and stuff, Jonah does a bunch of like brand direct wholesale, a little bit of like anything wholesale. Jonah probably sources some stuff like that. So I'm curious, like at your scale, is it more like hey brand, let's add some new products on your store, or like let's buy deeper, let's get more brands? Or I assume it's all of the above, but like what's the biggest like revenue driver right now?
Yeah, so definitely like maximizing our relationships, right? So I feel like it's one thing to have a brand direct account, but are you sharing it with a bunch of other sellers? Because then it kind of like muddies the water, right? I can't really like take the whole lion's share. I can't fully grow the brand. So we do have brands where we're trying to like get exclusive ASINs and like exclusive products we can launch and then eventually be the only seller for them. I think that's like the long-term goal. But yeah, we're still looking for new brands. But like I said, when cash flow is kind of an issue, you do slow down on the cold outreach and just like hitting up brands left and right. So we obviously always have some people in the pipeline, but yeah, dialing in on like our current brands and how do we grow those.
For sure. Yeah. So as you guys are popping on in, let us know what questions you guys have about starting your Amazon business. Obviously, we got a 50+ million dollar seller on stream. So if you guys have some higher level like wholesale scaling questions, that kind of thing, we can definitely get into it there. Also, I was curious, do you like scan for stuff that you can bring back to Amazon? Like you doing zero? I've been doing a bunch of zero competition sourcing on some of the new like Seller Amp stuff. I'm
Mm.
curious, like, are you like, hey, this product used to sell well on Amazon for you, and like, let's sell it again?
Explain to me what's the zero competition sourcing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let me just like this is cool for everyone.
Yeah, show me.
Let me just pull it up. Let's go
Because I
right
love I
here.
love zero competition sourcing.
Yeah, because that's
Because
I mean,
it's just opportunity based. Maybe the sales rank used to be killer and now it's just
right.
out of stock and no one is touching it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, maybe this maybe I get to help you make some more money today. That'd be cool. All right. So like I've been using the new like advanced search on SellerAmp. And so let's say like obviously I don't want to blow up any of your brands. Give me like a random brand example.
For what kind of brand are we looking for?
Any brand that you'd want to find this stuff that it used to sell well, but no one's on it right now. So like it's not going to show up in a lot of like typical scans.
Used to sell well, but no one's on it. That's tough. I don't even know.
All right. Let me I'll use a I didn't know if you had like a brand top of mind. I just like using like clothing brands as an example. Um and then I'm also going to add
Because
uh
yeah, basically it would just have to be out of stock, right?
right. Yeah, so like we can go in and say like, "Hey, show me everything that, in the last month had a seller on it, or even in the last year had a seller on it," right? From one. Right now it has 0 people on it. Plug in like you could do this like with your brands. It might be a good value add for your brands that you're already working with, right? You go in here, you say, hey, show me stuff that currently has no one on it. And then show me like a 180-day sales rank average of like 300K or so. Just because if it hasn't been selling, like logically, it's not going to have a great sales rank if no one's been on
I've
it.
got one you could look at. This would be a good example
Okay,
too.
cool.
Now Foods.
Okay. I think that should work like that sometimes. Yeah, perfect. So here's just like a super quick like initial scan,
Mhm.
right? Is we're looking for stuff currently no one on it. In the last month, somebody was on it and it sells somewhat well. And so here's 68 products that you could basically go to your brand and say, hey, did you know that there's 68 products that should sell really well in your store, but no one's taking action on right now?
Right.
And like some of these, Amazon's just like out of stock. Like Amazon went out of stock last week. But like this is a perfect
That's
example.
really useful though. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great example because no one's been on this for like like over a month. Let's see,
And with
last
your
time.
bigger brands where Amazon might be taking a big chunk, like you still know
Yeah,
there's holes in the brand that you could take advantage of.
yeah. So like this guy, so it used to sell for 16. Seems reasonable. Wholesale pricing might be able to get this little 2-ounce stevia around that $6 max cost.
Right.
And yeah, I mean that's just like one brand. So like, I mean I'll just share this with you, and then you guys in chat can run this as well. So like out of stock items to bring back. So like we can save this search and then share the link. Let's see. Naturally, it's fighting me right now. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Share. There we go. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So then I'll like put that in chat. Like you guys can play around with that too. Like plug in brand names and stuff. So this is a lot easier to use, TR. It has some extra things you can filter for. It's also a lot faster than KPF. I know some of you guys have played with KPF. The way that we can pull data, just because so many people use SellerAmp, nothing's gonna be able to be as fast as SellerAmp at pulling this data, which is kind of a cool side effect there. Yeah, not to derail everything, but I didn't know if like you'd played around with that. Maybe putting you on there.
Yeah, for me now too, dude. Honestly, it's like I spent so many years sourcing that I don't source as much as I used to, but I'm still in the weeds of like, looking at my team, making sure my team is like doing a lot of this thing. So I take a lot of these resources and like pass to my VA and say, hey, make sure we're doing this because obviously we have SellerAmp, we use SellerAmp, but we don't use every tool to like its full potential, obviously. And there's new things you guys come out with every week. So yeah,
it's hard to stay on top of like what all the new like cool stuff you can do sometimes. Cause like I feel like a lot of you guys beginners on the stream, like mostly beginners on the stream. I assume just because we got Jonah, there might be some like existing on the
Oh, I think you cut out.
Let's see. Are we better now? Good now?
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, like I know a lot of like beginners and stuff will be hanging out on stream. They're like super tapped in, knowing what's going on, and then you like start selling and you're not as tapped in anymore. So I know there's like lots of cool stuff. But yeah, the one thing I like to do, I'm sure you do this with your team as well, but like when you find something new, like show them how to do it and then like say, hey, record yourself doing this for 30 minutes. I want to see like where you're slow on it, what's like that kind of thing. So you're not having to do a bunch of like useless meetings with people, but still like making sure stuff's getting digested.
For sure. For sure. And it goes both ways, even like with training them. When you're sourcing, like even you guys just starting beginner phases, you should record yourself sourcing because it'll end up becoming valuable. You don't think it is now, but just like recording as much of what you're doing step by step. And then if you ever want help or hire a VA to assist you, it just makes it that much easier to onboard them.
Yeah, because then it's like, hey, I need you to do this. Don't like make up your own stuff. Do exactly this.
Watch these hours of me sourcing.
Yeah, for sure. A couple people asking about like what margins look like at a kind of bigger scale there. What do you guys usually try to shoot for?
So like just on physical products, you still can get a good margin with wholesale, especially when you're doing brand direct. So just like think about it. If you're doing brand direct, a lot of those guys can get distributor pricing, and it depends what you're doing with that brand. So like some brands, they won't give you any budget at all, right? They just give you the price, whether it's negotiated or not, or in wholesale, it's called keystone margins, which is basically just 50% margins. So if you're buying a product for $30, it retails at $60. There's still a lot of good items. Like you could hit that 25% gross on selling. Now it depends on like what you want to do with scaling, right? Like if you're wanting to take on debt, that's going to eat into your margins. If you're using a prep center or have partners involved, like that's going to eat into your margins. So you can still sell like, because I don't like to say lower margin with wholesale because then people assume that on the product sale.
Yeah.
And that's not what I mean. Like when you're still sourcing, you can find those good margin products and you can negotiate more on the wholesale side in your favor. So sometimes it might not be that profitable up front. You're getting a price sheet. It's like 10% margins, let's say, like without any ad spend, before returns, all of that, which like might be on the thin side. But then, hey, you're able to create that 2-pack and you get more margin on the bundle listing. Or the brand also gives you a little budget to advertise, which helps with your margin. So there's a way you can really like manufacture it. But yeah, I'd say like when you're selling physical products, still 15 to 25% margin you should be shooting for.
Yeah. So at what point in like the brand relationship kind of thing are you being like, hey, like give us the authority to make this 2-pack listing on Amazon? That can, like, first time you place an order, like we want to blow your store up, or are you like trying to go slow with them?
I think it's just like having the conversation first, right? Like opening the door and seeing where they're even at and if they're open to it. And sometimes that can be before you get started, right? Like if you're talking to somebody and you call a brand and you open up the account and they say, where are you selling? And you say, yeah, I sell e-commerce, a variety of channels, blah, blah, blah. And they say, okay, that's fine. Just keep MAP pricing. Well, like, you know, you're already getting the green light to sell. It's not like they're saying, hey, don't sell on Amazon. Like you should bring up more. Maybe say like, oh, I realize you don't have this variety bundle, or you don't have this one product that's also on your website. Like for me, that's totally cool bringing it up early because it gets them on the same path too of like, oh, okay, this guy is forward thinking. He wants to create listings. Like
Yeah.
once you're starting to create listings and like you're creating value for them, it becomes more of a service.
That makes sense. Because I know like the usual analogy is like if you're not growing that pie like of total sales that they're making, you're just another email they have to deal with. So they should just sell to one guy at that point.
Yeah, and everyone's different too. Like if it's a brand that's already doing good volume on Amazon and you open the account, like you're probably not going to talk about the exclusive bundles from day one. You're just like happy you have a profitable price sheet, a brand you're authorized to buy from. In that case, like buy and resell for a little bit, feel out the landscape, see how it is selling with the other sellers. And then I do think eventually you should bring it up, like how you can improve their presence on Amazon.
For sure. Yeah, I saw I got a bunch of guys I think just came in from Discord there. So we're live with Jonah right now. He's sold a bunch of money on Amazon with the wholesale model. So let us know in chat if you guys have questions about kind of scaling your Amazon store and stuff. Let's see. Shelly had a good question. I know this is probably where a lot of people are at, right? You know, kind of newer to the game, been since March 27th. Like when should somebody start doing some wholesale in your opinion?
Yeah, so figure out why you're selling on Amazon, like what your end goal is first. I do think it's a good roadmap to just start with arbitrage and learn the ropes. A lot of the times you are going to get ungated in a bunch of brands and categories too, which like sets yourself up for the long term with wholesale, especially with Amazon, how they are now too. You're not necessarily just safe with getting ungated when you're buying from a distributor that's authorized. Like it still can be really hard to get ungated. So that's why sometimes it's good to build up your account, just like, you know, buy and resell 10 unit ungates. That's better than the 100 unit ungates that then you buy it and the invoice doesn't work. So sometimes, you know, as long as you still have the idea that you want to do wholesale one day, it's like you can still keep that in mind as you're doing arbitrage. So let's say you're walking into the store, you're doing RA. Well, what are you scanning? Is it a product that maybe you could contact a distributor for? Does it show a supplier on the product? Like those are all ways that you could actually be doing RA right there, buying and reselling, but like finding potential leads that you contact when the time is right too.
Yeah. One of the easy places to start, like for all of you guys already doing online arbitrage, just like you could always email the brand. Hey, do you guys have a wholesale program? You know, can we buy from you? They're probably going to say no, right? If you're like a brand new seller, you don't know what you're doing yet, but they might say, sure, these are our distributors in your state, right? They'll usually be much more willing to do that. And maybe it's cheaper than your website source.
Yeah. Sometimes it is just like you're opening your mindset to like a different way of sourcing, right? Like there's many ways people are buying and reselling on Amazon right now. Even within the arbitrage niche, right? So people have their secret sauce of how they do it. Same thing goes with wholesale. It's just like finding profitable brands, profitable products, profitable suppliers. And then I think like maximizing that relationship as far as you can. So I talk to a lot of guys who do arbitrage and they have a a manager's login so they get special pricing,
Right.
or
It's basically wholesale at that point. Yeah.
or they go in store and they have the manager who's like has a pallet of product behind for them. It's like, okay, cool. You're already doing this with little like connections you have. That's the relationship piece of it. Can that guy get you any more product? Can you do this with other people? So I think that's a good way of getting into the space. We have one guy in the network. He does $7 to $8 million a year in OA, basically all OA, but he wasn't doing any wholesale yet. And so like he obviously had a great base of like, okay, I want to do some wholesale. What's the next steps? It's just like, okay, well, what are you already selling? What have you came across? Who's in your area? Like you're clearly advanced at this buying and reselling thing. You just got to add this different conversation piece when you're finding suppliers, which is cool because everyone's at different pieces, right? He didn't need the capital. He just wanted also some longevity to his catalog. He was tired of losing some of the accounts. He wanted like a brand direct that he could help scale and learn more of the back end of Amazon. And so he's doing both. Like you can do both.
Yeah. I think a combo of the both is probably the best like cash flow business around. It has been for a while. For sure. Yeah. And like Jonah was mentioning, he helps a ton of people like start an Amazon wholesale business as well. You guys get the first link in the description. You'll basically work one-on-one with Jonah and lots of their other kind of coaches in the community. And they help you find a brand direct account in the first 90 days, right? Is the guarantee. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So we're helping people who are already selling on Amazon. So they have a seller account. They may have done a little bit of arbitrage or even wholesale, like helping people scale there. We just realized having a network and connecting with other guys is just the easiest way to scale. Bunch of other people in the space are also in the community, and we've seen it's just been super valuable. So that's been rewarding.
For sure. Yes, if you guys are curious about like, if you're like serious about making money with wholesale, go check that out, and you can like book a call to chat with them and stuff. Let's see. Lewis said, do you think it's possible to work your way up with a big brand partnership like Kresh? Because that's all over Instagram, right? It's just so easy to like work directly with Sony and Neutrogena, right? Like
I know one guy who did this exact thing we're doing. He was reselling brand direct wholesale, obviously made one connection with one brand, and he basically like quit his whole business to work for this one brand because, whatever happened there ended up being a good deal. But as a brand direct wholesaler where you're like the exclusive seller, it'd be really hard to like fulfill for somebody like Crest. Yeah. So maybe you could be an authorized seller, but I wouldn't call it a brand partnership. For me, brand partnerships are like, hey guys, let's sit down, let's figure out the roadmap, the blueprint of Amazon, how we're going to scale here. And ideally, if I'm the wholesaler, I have exclusive rights over the stock. So I'm buying directly from you. I'm reselling for you through my account. That's really hard for like a Crest. So
that's the supplier calling with money. Jonah just declined some money for you guys there.
Yeah, it was actually.
It actually was the supplier.
It was. Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. Oh, what's up, Lewis? I just noticed. Is this the end of Still Wins there? You got the actual. You got a social media profile rolling now. It's the actual face on the YouTube profile pic. He's been in streams and stuff forever. I'm 99% sure that's.
So you said why is wholesale more appealing than PL in your opinion? For me, I just think, at least in my own personal journey, that there's a roadmap for starting as a reseller into maximizing Amazon for its full potential. I know some people start and they just build a brand. That's great. Good for you. But as a reseller, my journey has been like, you resell, you do wholesale, brand partnerships. Now I'm creating listings for my brand. So I'm learning all the skills and like learning what goes into making a really nice listing and how to create traffic to a listing from scratch. So I know that's valuable for going into PL. I did PL like 2 years ago and it just didn't go well, but it wasn't my full force thing. I think if you're going to do a new model, at least for a short period of time, you do need to really put all your attention to it, right? Like you guys can dabble with wholesale, but you're not going to get as much success as the guy who says, I'm going to go all in on this for 90 days. Like if I go 90 days hard at this, phone calls, couple trade shows, hammering emails, like he will have more success. And the same thing goes for private label. Like I'll do it one day, but I'm not good at doing it as like a side hustle thing. So for me, the brand or partnerships thing, it works. It's profitable. I think you build up your nest egg to the point of like when you can do private label, if I even want to at that point, but not do like a launch for 5 to 10K, like do it for with a proper budget.
Yeah, I don't even think you can like. It'd be really hard to launch a product for that. Like, I remember back in the day, it was like you need 10K to launch a product. Like,
I'm saying now, like with my brands, even just getting creators and like an organic content push and affiliate marketers behind you, you probably want that budget just for that. With giving product away and getting reviews and all that. So let alone what you need for everything.
Yeah, I've been seeing people spend up to like literally 6 figures launching a private label recently.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Yeah, and I think the important thing to stress with that as well is like you're saying, like try to focus on one business model all at once. Like that doesn't mean that you're like throwing the old business away, because like ideally, if you get to the point where you're like ready to start trying new things, your initial model is like at least partially automated, right? Maybe you have a virtual assistant or two kind of handling half the workload that you used to do. Even if you're still sourcing all the online arbitrage products, maybe a virtual assistant's doing all the bookkeeping and in-house stuff, so you can start calling wholesalers and sourcing your OA stuff. So like you don't hear that and think like, oh, I got to throw in my whole business every time I want to try some new ideas. Like kind of stack those on top of each other and just make sure they're real businesses. Let's see. Appreciate you, Gina. Appreciate you reach. Make sure that's not a fake pro. I know I've been talking to a lot of people. Just make sure it's not like a fake version of me on Discord or WhatsApp or something like that. Maybe we're talking in emails or something. But yeah, I apologize if I'm not remembering that. I just don't want you to be talking to like a fake version of me there. If you get a mess, I'm sure there's fake versions of you. Like if you see fake versions of us on social media, like talking about Shopify and crypto and stuff like that, like it's AI copies and that kind of thing. Let's see. Mad Mood said wholesale electronics. Do you do much electronics? I haven't seen you talk much about that.
No, not really my niche. I've came across a couple sellers of it. I'd say avoid high ticket, low ROI for sure. Like that's when wholesale gets a bad rep. It's like, oh, I bought these TVs for $400 and I sold them for $550. It's like that's not the type of wholesale I do. I go for consumable stuff, definitely like $20 to $80 range, I'd say. Like I don't have a ton of higher ticket stuff, but like $20, $30 products.
Yeah, it's that range where if someone like completely scams you, it's whatever, it's $30, whatever. Like it's not like the $1,000 TV or whatever.
Yeah, it like anything. If you have a connection in the space, like if you have a electronics distributor and you can get access to products, then try it out for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, because at the same time, like the thing that everyone else is scared of, like if you have some kind of special way to like actually pull it off, like it makes it a bulletproof business model.
Right. Like I don't like oversized stuff, for example, like those big, massive products. But if you can do it, that's your niche.
I was wholesaling some like giant like roof rack type things for a while, like Brand Direct. We had like semis rolling through my residential neighborhood, dropping off pallets of like these like giant roof racks. They were profitable. It worked.
Hopefully there's not too many returns. I've had some like bad returns with big stuff that it's like not sellable.
Sure, yeah.
No, it's
there definitely were there definitely was some of that, but like the margin was there to make it worth it and all that. Like yeah, I don't know if the neighborhood was too happy about that when we had semis rolling through.
Yeah, yes, you can receive pallets in residentials, everybody.
Yep. You just have to like you like make sure they're bringing a lift gate. That's like the big thing. You can request it when you buy the shipping, and then they'll usually call you in the morning and just say, hey, make sure there's a lift gate. Let's see, is there a way to find strictly FBA products? So like that would just be, I mean, you could storefront stock other FBA sellers. That's also where the kind of that SellerAmp advanced search stuff we're looking at a little bit earlier. You could like filter to specifically products that have 0 FBM sellers, or at least the buy box is FBA. Right. But the main thing to think about is like if a product is only being FBM'd, as long as it's not like meltable, that would be like maybe the thing to watch for. You can FBA it and start just dominating that listing because
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's like,
yeah,
I mean, sometimes you want to look for those ones that are only FBM, strictly
yeah,
FBM, and sell it for 10, 20% higher FBA.
yeah, might as well. I was curious. See if I can pop this back up because that gets me curious again. Let me see. Yeah, so like if you go over here, self-made, and then just use like the default good deal, and then go we need to go right there. We go FBA, offer count, and then you could literally do like, you could make sure that there's an FBA seller on it to make sure it's something you're interested in, or like what Jonah's saying, like I've been liking going in and seeing like, maybe I'm a brand new seller and I want to see something like an FBM right now. Hey, let me filter for things that are 0 FBA sellers and has 1 FBM seller. And then you could either FBA those and dominate sales, or in this case, FBM with them and like be very quick to making the sales and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're looking for like super specific types of products, the new filters here are super cool. Let's see. Do we need a warehouse or a retail store to do this? I mean, we kind of talked about that a second ago, but I assume you didn't you didn't have the giant warehouse, that kind of stuff when you got started.
No, obviously it helps. Like if you have a warehouse or a physical location, you can act as your warehouse, like a prep center. Even that'll get you by, but you don't need any of that. You can do it from your house.
Yeah, kind of a hack that I used to get it was like a supplement brand. Like I had a friend who was running a gym at the time, and we go to the brand and say, hey, we can help sell some stuff out of the front of this gym, and we really did. We put a couple things in the front. Yeah. Obviously, that was like 0.01% of the sales, and we were also slinging their stuff on Amazon. But like that was an in, and literally the sales rep was like, "I'm cool, you selling online. I just can't sell to you unless you have a physical presence." I'm like, okay. Yeah. Cool. We'll sell 5 bottles through the front of my gym, my gym in this scenario.
Yeah. I do the same thing with a partner. I still have a retail partner like that. Kaj, if you guys know Kaj on here, he does the same thing for a supplement brand out of like a gym. Yeah. It is just like partially a front, right? But that's so many online retailers. That's literally how they got accounts. And that's why it's like, oh, you need a brick and mortar? Okay, let me just pop up this hole in the wall and put my sign on it. But yeah, 98% of the sales are e-commerce. So like I actually struggle with a lot of those guys because like I said, I'll get a brand direct account, but there's 5 other guys that have it. And I'm like, okay, who are they? I'm like the Amazon growth partner service provider, right? Those guys are just the bike shop who also sell on Amazon. It's like, no, he's not adding any value.
Yeah. That's funny. So you've been trying to weed out some of the people that are pulling that.
Eventually, man, after a while.
Yeah. Let's see. Started to use wholesalers. Already encountered some receiving clearance items without original packaging. Yeah, so you're probably dealing with like closeout suppliers and that kind of thing. What are some like signs that there's a supplier like that you've seen?
Yeah, so I don't like anything that's not in original packaging, especially with Amazon. There's just so much weirdness with supply chain and customer complaints. If it's repackaged at all, you're not going to really pass any verification issues you run into. So I would avoid that. And then also make sure it's like not expired stuff, depending on what you're working with. But like stuff that's too close to expiration date often is like that. I would just avoid those type of wholesalers usually. I know they're clearance deals. So it's like, hey, take it as it is, but just make sure everything's still good with it.
For sure. What's up, Brian? Said, find product first, find distribution after. I'm just because I know you're doing arbitrage and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's a good plan, right? Because you can on a baseline level, like you can buy 5 units or something from a website. Oh, it went awesome. Okay, let me reach out to the wholesaler, and even on a risk mitigation state, there's lots of different reasons to do wholesale arbitrage. But first time you ever sold a product, they're forcing you to buy 500 units. Like it can be a lot to, but if you already have that data from testing it online a little bit. Let's see. Buying from authorized resellers to sell big brands. Still scalable, or is brand direct the way to go? Yeah, that's interesting. Where do you see that kind of balancing out?
I'm a fan of brand direct for sure. That's just like my method. I think if you can get close with that brand and get like in their brand registry, it makes you that much harder to get cut. So what we're doing is like actually creating listings for these partners. So some brands, you guys come across this all the time. You're sourcing a brand, maybe buying some of their stuff, but then on their website, they have products that are not listed on Amazon. So like part of our whole deal is like, yeah, I want to buy and sell those hot top 3 ASINs that are already reselling, but I'll also create the new listing for this new launch of your guys's and do yada, yada, yada. So I think that's more sustainable long term just because I've done the authorized distributors thing for so long. And while it cash flows really well and it's sometimes immediate, like you can make money much quicker, I've just lost a lot of those profitable ASINs too. Like looking at my own catalog over the last 5 years, the brand direct brand partnership stuff it's made me the most money and been the most long term. Now, with that being said, there's still a ton of value in distributors. I look at them as like a leads list. You're going to buy some profitable stuff. It will lead you to brands, and they can also be your best friends. Like your distributors can connect you with other brands and other partners. And I think that's a really good way to keep distributors in your pocket.
For sure. Let's see. Planning said, disabled, could you really succeed? What advice could you give you? So things will look a little different for you, for sure. Prep, you'll want to get a prep center. You want to hire maybe even just some help locally to help you, throw stuff in boxes. But the hard part of this business is the brain work, right? It's not the throwing stuff down in boxes, luckily. So you can definitely succeed, but I'm sure you're used to taking some extra steps and stuff. So you've already got that kind of resilience that it takes to like succeed. So just like find some physical help, and you can definitely pull it off, man. We've seen like like very old people find a lot of success, right? And they're not probably moving stuff around in boxes very, very efficiently and that kind of thing. So yeah, you can definitely crush it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I back all of that. Still can crush it. Still can pick up the phone and call. I think like making phone calls is something a lot of people don't want to do with wholesale. So just like letting you guys know now, if you aren't willing to do that, somebody else is, and they're probably going to like build a better relationship with that supplier. So my whole thing with wholesale is like either trade shows. So if you could go to a trade show, or if you can make a phone call, you have a way better likelihood to succeed. It's like, yes, you can open up those suppliers just via email and contact forms. I still see people do it all the time, but like your best bet is phone calls and going in person. And even being disabled, that might harm you with packing stuff up. But like Warner said, that's the easy part.
Yeah, that's the $15 an hour part. $20 an hour, get some local help. Like, yeah,
that's easy.
For sure. Now, if you can't, see your screen or something like that, then that might be a different ball game. But yeah, let's see. So we'll probably go ahead and wrap up here in just a second. So once again, if you guys are serious about like getting into to wholesale, check out the link down below. Jonah helps you guys launch wholesale businesses. They'll help you find a specific brand direct account in a few months, which is really cool. So check that out if you want to scale on wholesale. Let's see. Sounds good, Gina. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Just making sure you're not talking to a fake one. Mad Moon said your plant needs water.
I said that on my last 2 Zoom calls too. I was like, I fed this thing like 3 times. Makes me look
like that's awesome. Let's see. Nail said, study OA. How do you bypass the MOQ limits on a website? So if they are like, that'd be the opposite of an MOQ. It'd be like a maximum order quantity, right? But you can just place multiple orders, right? Throw multiple things in the same order, that kind of thing. It's, even if it takes you 2 minutes to spend, $500, $1,000 on profitable inventory, that's still a pretty good use of your time. You know what I mean? And you can also, like, as you scale up, you can hire buyers and that kind of thing, which you'll do for wholesale, you do for arbitrage, all that kind of stuff. So you're not the one sitting there punching in numbers. Again, it's it's a little more high skilled than putting stuff down in the box to like actually check out and make sure things look good, but you don't have to be the one doing that forever. Sweet. We can go ahead and answer this one and probably go ahead and wrap up here. So he said, is it easier to get into national ones versus local suppliers? That's interesting. I don't know if we've ever talked on that.
I mean, I know a ton of people have accounts with KeyHeat. I don't know how hard it is to get one. There's different price tiers you can get within the account. I personally think you have better success with the local guys. Like, I'm always a proponent of building connections with the local suppliers. That's worked for me. I think there's local distributors, local brands, local retail stores you guys can partner with. So mom and pop retail stores that have been selling these brands for how many years and have X amount of distribution accounts. You can partner with them and sell their stuff, and that's a supplier of yours. But you are going to build the connection best when it's local to you and like your personal connections. And so I do think it does matter if you're just getting started, like look around your area. If you don't have anybody in your area, then, you know, travel to a trade show, like travel outside of your area and go meet somebody. But the more connections you can make, the better.
For sure. Awesome. Yeah. Appreciate you hanging out on stream again, Jonah. Appreciate all you guys spending, 30 minutes of the afternoon here with us. And yeah, appreciate everybody hanging out. Go make sure you go follow Jonah on Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Makes good content for you guys. And then once again, if you want his help scaling your wholesale business, they do great work helping lots of soon to be wholesale sellers find their first brand direct accounts and kind of help scale for a while. So yeah, appreciate everybody. And we will see you guys again very soon. Peace, y'all.
Guys. Thank you.